name is Fred Ballitzer. I'm chairman of the Foundation for California. We've tried to bring the best of California to Florida tonight, and we're going to be opening a marvelous exhibit called The Courage to Remember, a 42-panel exhibit on the Holocaust. This is Armed Forces Week, and we are going to begin this evening with a presentation of the colors by the Jewish war veterans, post 7:30.
I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I just want to let everybody know we have a few veterans who came with us today in the Honor Guard, and each one is a member of a different war. World War II. We have Harry Weininger. See? Served in the European Theater. Marvin Simon, the commander of Post 730, U.S. veteran. Marvin Maurer, served in Korea and Vietnam. Rudy Schwartz, served in Korea. Bob Hillman, Single Corps, Vietnam. My name is Bill Kling. I'm the president of the Broward County Veterans Council. Served in World War II, 2 Navy ships, and thankfully I'm here today to help open up this very auspicious ceremony. And it's going to be a beautiful day today, and I know that. This exhibit, I've been talking about this for the last month, and I'm sure that everybody who's going to see it is going to really understand more than what they did before about the Holocaust. Thank you.
I am a college professor by training. I'm accustomed to speaking in 55-minute increments, followed by an exam. But tonight, well, we'll skip the exam. How's that? We have Rabbi Abraham Cooper of the Simon Wiesenthal Center. The Simon Wiesenthal Center plays a very important role in this program tonight because it is the creator of the exhibit, The Courage to Remember. Rabbi Cooper could not be with us this evening, but he is going to join us by Skype.
I wish to commend the sponsors of tonight's opening and salute the incredible devotion of the Foundation for California team, led by my dear friend, Professor Fred Ballitzer, in bringing the Courage to Remember Holocaust exhibit to communities across America and around the world. I also want to commend SNCF for its commitment to learning from and imparting the lessons of the Shoah in France and beyond. Lessons which include those related to their predecessors during World War II. The wonderful Floridians gathered this evening, Christians and Jews, may not be able to do much individually to thwart the schemes of the bigots and anti-Semites. Yet by your presence here tonight, you are taking a leadership role in fighting our greatest enemy of all, apathy and forgetfulness. Our Jewish sages taught, in remembrance lie the roots of redemption, in forgetfulness the root of destruction. By coming together tonight, we are declaring never again to hate, never again to bigotry, and to work together on behalf of our grandchildren's freedom and the freedom and value of democracies. Thank you very much, and shalom.
I'd like to call up is Eric Stillman, who's CEO of the Jewish Federation of Broward County. I believe, Eric, this is the 4th stint you have done with a federation in the United States. Am I right about that?
Actually,
the 5th. The 5th, oh, sorry.
Thank you, Fred. Good evening, everybody.
Good evening.
In the spirit of brevity, allow me to just make a couple of quick points. I know we have a large crowd standing in the back, and so I don't want to prolong you having to be on your feet for any longer than necessary. For the Jewish Federation of Broward County, It is of tremendous importance that we support and that we help to bring Holocaust education to more people in as many venues as possible. I thank you for the opportunity to be here. This is an important plank, and what we believe in is crucial, both for the Jewish community and, as Fred said, for our non-Jewish friends and neighbors to understand and learn the lessons of the Holocaust so that we never forget. Thank you.
Here, we're really honored to have here a representative of Congressman Allen West.
The first step in generating action is education. Exhibitions such as this are critical tools to ensuring this awful period in human history is never forgotten and never repeated. In my own lifetime, there has been no other period when a strong voice for the Jewish community and support for the State of Israel has been more crucial. I will always stand with you to ensure the safety and security of the Jewish community across the globe. Thank you.
We're really grateful to have a number of state representatives here tonight. We've asked Florida State Representative Marty Kerr to come up and share a few words. He told me that he's 71, and I wanted to know how he manages to look this way at 71. But Marty, I also want to say that we have a number of your colleagues here this evening as well. We're very grateful for all the state representatives who could be here tonight. It's a special honor to have elected officials of the state of Florida with us here tonight.
And there are so many wonderful reasons that I wanted to share with you, but as a result of brevity, to keep this a little quiet and short, I just wanted to share two with you why I think this exhibit is absolutely tremendous for our community and for the world. First and foremost, and Commissioner Holness spoke about it, is education. It educates our children, our parents, it educates everybody about the Holocaust. And by educating them, we can ensure that the terrible atrocities that occurred in the Holocaust will never happen again. That's why this exhibit is so incredibly important to our community, to our state, to our country, and to the world. And that's why we are so blessed to have it. And the second reason I wanted to share with you is because it keeps all those folks, the heroic men, women, and children who gave their lives in the Holocaust, who lost their lives, it keeps them in our thoughts and prayers. Before I came today, I spoke to a couple, a husband and a wife. And I told them where I was coming. And the husband told me that he was so thrilled that this exhibit was here because he thinks it will do great things for our community. And I started talking to him a little more. And he said that his uncle was killed in the Holocaust, passed away in one of the concentration camps. And he never got to meet his uncle, but he always wanted to. He wanted to learn about him. He wanted to know his interests, what he did for a living. He wanted to get to know his family member, but he was never given that chance. But he told me as a result of this exhibit and exhibits like it, it gives him the ability to think about his family member, to think about his uncle, to learn about his uncle, and to keep him in his thoughts and prayers. And that's why, to me, and to him, and to all of us, this exhibit is tremendous, because it keeps all of those men and women, all of those folks who passed away, who gave their lives at the hands of the Nazis. It keeps all of them in our thoughts and prayers, and that's why we're so blessed to have this. We're so blessed to have this exhibit here, and I hope everybody visits it, and I hope everybody continues to come until May 31st, because it is so important to our community, to our state, and to our nation. Thank you.
We've got Ms. Lori Rich-Levinson, who's a board member, District 6 of the Broward County Public Schools. She's going to share a few words with us, but I'd like to say before she comes up to the podium, we have lots of school teachers here tonight. School teachers, bless you. We're very happy to have you here. A big round of applause for school teachers.
I'm going to speak on behalf of myself as well as my mother, Senator Nan Rich, who couldn't be here tonight. Holocaust education has been very important to our family for many years and has been something that our family has worked diligently on. And I want to thank the Simon Wiesenthal Center for bringing this exhibit to Broward County and for the other partners that have made it possible tonight to view these 200 original photographs, many that have not been seen.
We're really lucky tonight to have Broward County Commissioner Dale Holness from District 9.
We welcome the Simon Wiesenthal Center's renowned Holocaust exhibit, The Courage to Remember, to South Florida. And we thank the Foundation for California for facilitating this exhibition here in Broward County, and indeed South Florida, because we are the center of South Florida. So you're in the right place to be able to have 5.5 million people come to this center. This has special meaning to me, and a lot of folks who know me don't know this little tidbit about me. My great-grandmother was a practicing Jew in Jamaica. My mom reminds me of that all the time, and all the different things that she did. And in fact, one of the oldest operating synagogue in the Western Hemisphere is actually in Jamaica, built in 1744. Sharia Shalom Synagogue is still operating. I'm happy to be here with you this evening, and again encourage you to ensure that everyone is fully aware of this exhibit that's here so they can be here to be educated. Thank you very much.
In order to not forget, we must take advantage of all opportunities and all funding sources to fulfill and advance the mission of the task force. In this time of uncertain and limited funding for educational programs, we do not have the luxury to pick and choose whose funds we will accept or refuse. We are guided by a sense of urgency to educate, especially while we still have the survivors of the Holocaust to assist us. In order to not forget, we must listen to what the survivors of the Holocaust have been telling me for more than 25 years. Linda, they say, tell my story. Teach it to the children, to the young people. Don't teach them to hate. Teach them, show them, and tell them what hate did to us and what hate can do to this world. Use the lessons of the Holocaust so it does not happen again.
We also have someone, Representative L'Chaim. Many of you have seen the television program on Jewish Life Television, L'Chaim, and Lee Lazarson is going to, he's the host, is going to say just a couple of words.
Shalom to you all. First of all, thank you very much to the Simon Wiesenthal Center, the California Foundation, SNCF, and of course the David Posnack Jewish Community Center for hosting Courage to Remember. We've worked with, last year we did an interview with Rabbi Cooper when he came to town on the proliferation of hate that exists on the internet, and it's eye-opening when you really dig into it, that exists for all our youth with just simple search words to be able to pull up these sites of hate. The Courage to Remember exhibit means that we must view these images and have our children view these images again and again, to know the horror of this time in our history, and to understand that hate does not exist without cause, that hate does exist without cause, without rhyme, and without reason. Together as a community of Jews and Gentiles, we must face and expose the hatred that exists. And together as individuals and as a community, we must do all we can to repair our world, to minimize the power of hate in our community and in our nation and on our planet. At a time in our history when forces of evil are at the front of change in the Middle East, when treaties of peace can be thrown out like garbage, and when evil leaders in Iran are getting the time they need to develop the weapons for the destruction of the State of Israel. At this time, in the face of the potential for another Holocaust of our people, we must never forget the tragedies of our past, and we must have the courage.
It's now really my great pleasure to introduce to you all Rabbi Yaakov Thompson. He is the president of the Flame Society.
Friends, first of all, as representative tonight of the Flame Society, we are a relatively new nonprofit organization, and we have charged ourselves with the task of achieving something that has never been done. We are currently in production of a 2-hour pilot that will be a pilot for a year-long weekly documentary series on the Holocaust. We will have programming for an entire year. It will appear on Jewish Life TV nationally and internationally. And we have hopes that after that first year, other networks will pick it up. It will be offered to them for free, as will all of our educational materials. So the Flame Society really has a great stake in trying to bring awareness through public events like this.
This would not be possible tonight without the 3 legs of the stool that brings us all here. Simon Wiesenthal Center, the Foundation for California, which schleps the exhibit from community to community, from state to state, happily schleps. And finally, SNCF, the French National Railway, who made a generous donation that allows us to go on. They have given the grant to a private organization that provides Holocaust education around the country, and we're very grateful for their beneficence, and we're very grateful for their participation.
SNCF is an international company which operates in 120 countries, ranging from Korea to Israel. We're best known as the French National Railroad Company, Société Nationale des Chemins de Fer Français. It is an honor, it really is an honor and a privilege for SNCF to be represented here today. I mean it. Partnering with the Simon Wiesenthal Center and the Foundation for California. During the Second World War, under the direction of the Nazis and the French Vichy government, the rogue Vichy government, trains and personnel of SNCF were used to transport in abominable conditions approximately 76,000 Jews, homosexuals, gypsies. SNCF deeply regrets the role it played during the war. I am humbled, SNCF is humbled before the victims. I am humbled, SNCF is humbled before the survivors. I am humbled, SNCF is humbled before the children of the deportees. I am humbled, SNCF is humbled before the suffering which lives on. For me, the grandson of 4 survivors, and therefore the son of 2 survivors, I have the greatest hope that my young daughter, who is over there with her mother, will never have to witness such an atrocity of men against men. I'm not exactly sure I should say men against men. I think I should say pure evil against men. I leave this up to scholars like Rabbi Thompson that I had the pleasure to meet this morning. SNCF has dedicated itself to transparency, remembrance, and Holocaust education as a means of ensuring that such a tragedy never occurs again. This exhibit also honors those Frenchmen and women who died resisting the Nazis. There are always 2 sides to a story. Let us remember this. 2,000 railroaders, cheminots, 2,000 employees of SNCF were murdered resisting the Nazis. That also belongs to our history as a corporation. SNCF has undertaken a vigorous program of Holocaust remembrance. In January, SNCF memorialized and opened a new memorial site near Paris at Bobigny, one of the train stations that was used for deportations. Since '95, SNCF has opened as a token of complete transparency. I really want to stress this, complete transparency. Its archives for the use of scholars and interested members of the public. And just a few months ago, digitized copies of the World War II archives were presented to the Shoah Memorial in Paris, Yad Vashem in Jerusalem, and the United States Holocaust Memorial Museum in Washington, D.C. These archives are now accessible online. SNCF helps to fund important programs of Holocaust education. Our interest in Holocaust education is actually a dedication. It is a dedication to continually educate and reach out to current and future generations. And remember, so that it will never happen again. SNCF is truly honored to be a part of this invaluable education in hope, in perseverance, and in tolerance.
You know, we have several state representatives State Representative Barbara Watson just arrived, and we have representatives, okay, come on, from men and women serving in Congress. We're delighted that you could all be here tonight. And Eileen Lieberman. Eileen, very good. She is a colleague on the Eileen, we're very grateful for you to be here this evening. Thank you. Our last speaker is a survivor. We always make the last speaker in our programs a survivor. It's important to hear from a member of the community, A, what they went through, and B, therefore, the importance of Holocaust education. And we're especially honored tonight to have Stephen Nathan Montrose, who is a child survivor. He may be one of the few child survivors who is left and active, and he speaks around the country. He speaks in many venues.
Hi everybody. Thank you so much for having me here today. And I'm really, really honored to be here to share my life with you. I thank you from the bottom of my heart to everybody and all the teachers who worked so hard that the Holocaust be taught the right way. My story starts out in Poland, of course. 74 years ago, I was born there. I was born to a very affluent family, and as long as my father could, he took care of the Germans in his own little way, so we could maintain a certain lifetime. But it all came to an end, and we moved from apartment to apartment. Food was very, very scarce. I was allowed to come downstairs and play with other children, and the first thing that I would see were dead people laying in the street. And then I always used to wait for my father, because, as I said, food was scarce, and he always managed to bring something home to eat. And then as a small child, I was hidden, because many times the Germans would come in looking for old people and young people. Old were useless, young were useless. We hid out in a factory, and then one of the workers must have heard me running up and down. So the next morning we were out of there, and the family separated. And my aunts and uncles went one way, and I went with my father. And we lived in deserted buildings, hardly anything to eat. And I was crying, and it was so cold. And my father would open up his coat and let me come next to him so I would get a little warmth. And one morning as we were waking up, the Germans were coming through. They were looking for stragglers. They pointed the rifles at us, and they took us to a truck, and the truck proceeded to the train station. There were hundreds and hundreds of people there. We saw a certain amount of some of our family members there, and so we stood all close together. And I said to my father, I said, Tata, Tata, I have to go to the bathroom. And I couldn't hold my urine any longer. And I was so afraid of what the Germans might do to me, and also so ashamed of urinating all over my pants. And I stood in the urine because I was scared, because the Germans were walking around with these big dogs and with whips in their hands. Eventually the train started pulling into the station, and they packed us into these cattle cars. And how many people were in a cattle car, I really don't know. Some people say as many as 100 people were shoved in. We all stood together, we couldn't sit. So the odor, the smell from the different people was just horrific. And for toilet purposes, they gave us the pail. And at the beginning, there was a little place where the woman would make a circle around the bucket, so some of the ladies had privacy. But after all, a long time, it didn't mean anything. The feces and the urine was overflowing. The stench was just unbearable. And my family members took turns on holding me as we proceeded on from Poland. And of course, we didn't know where we were going, but we were going to Germany.